March 2026. Tensions erupt in the Middle East as conflict with Iran threatens to choke global energy supplies. Oil prices spike toward $100 a barrel almost overnight, and in a move that stunned markets, the United States, yes, the same US leading sanctions against Russia, grants India a 30-day waiver to snap up millions of barrels of stranded Russian crude. Why now? Why India? And why does this emergency lifeline expose the fragile chessboard of global power? It all traces back to spring 2022, when the world flipped upside down. The United States and its allies unleashed one of the most aggressive sanctions campaigns in modern history. Russia, one of the planet's top energy exporters, was frozen out of the Western financial system. The goal? Cripple Moscow's war machine by slashing its oil revenues. But here's the twist that no one saw coming. Russian oil didn't vanish. The tankers kept sailing, the barrels kept flowing, and one nation emerged as the unlikely hero or villain, depending on your view, of this energy thriller: India. Before the Ukraine war, India sourced less than 2% of its crude from Russia, a footnote in the global ledger. Then, an explosion. Shipments surged over 1,000% in the first year alone. By 2023, Russia overtook Saudi Arabia as India's #1 supplier, claiming nearly 40% of imports. Fast forward to today, even as volumes dipped slightly amid tighter sanctions and shipping snarls, down to about 1.1 million barrels per day in early 2026, Russia still holds the top spot. In February alone, India imported around 1.1 million barrels per day from Russian ports, fueling about 22% of its needs during peak demand. Pundits scratch their heads. Why let this happen? Why carve out space for India in a sanctions web meant to isolate Russia? Because what happened next would quietly reshape the global oil trade. The answer lies not in headlines, but in the hidden machinery of global energy. Because this story isn't just about oil. It's about survival, strategy, and the quiet deals that keep the world spinning. When sanctions slammed Russia in 2022, the math was brutal. Russia pumps 7 to 8 million barrels of oil and products daily. Yanking that overnight. Catastrophe. Prices could have rocketed past $150 a barrel. Inflation would have gutted recoveries from the pandemic. Recessions? Inevitable. Western leaders faced checkmate. Punish Putin, but don't torch the planet's fuel lines. Their fix? Their solution was the oil price cap. Russian crude could still trade worldwide, but Western shipping, insurance, and financing locked unless sold below a set threshold, say $60 when Brent hovered at $80. Russia keeps exporting, but at a haircut, discounts that lured buyers like moths to a flame. Enter India, the world's hungriest energy consumer, importing 88.6%. That's right, over 4/5 of its oil. With 1.4 billion people and an economy roaring toward $4 trillion GDP, demand isn't growing, it's exploding. When Russian Urals crude flashed discounts of $20 to $30 below benchmarks in 2022 to 2023, Indian refiners pounced. Why pay premium when you can save billions? New routes bloomed across the Indian Ocean, from Baltic and Arctic ports to mega refineries in Jamnagar and Paradip. But the story doesn't end there. That Russian crude, it didn't just quench India's thirst. In those behemoth refineries, the largest complexes on Earth, it transformed into diesel for trucks, gasoline for cars, and jet fuel for flights, and then shipped right back out to Europe, to the US, even to sanctioned heartland ports. Russian crude enters India, is refined, and then re-enters global markets as made-in-India fuel. By 2025, India was exporting over 10% of its refined products, born from Russian feedstock, straight to the EU and America, a sanctions loophole so elegant it borders on poetry. Yet beneath the economics pulses raw geopolitics. India isn't just a buyer, it's a superpower in waiting. Most populous nation on Earth. Fifth largest economy, sprinting to third. Fastest growing major market, devouring energy like never before. To the west, India's irreplaceable. The Quad's anchor against China's shadow in the Indo-Pacific. Tech ties, defense pacts, maritime muscle with the US, Japan, Australia. Slap sanctions on India's oil playbook. It could have seriously strained that strategic relationship. Risk pushing Delhi toward Beijing's orbit. Unthinkable. So, the West bent. Tolerated the flow. Even now, in March 2026, as Iran flares up and tankers idle at sea, the US waves through that 30-day waiver. Not out of weakness, but pragmatism. India's refineries, now at 258 million metric tons per year capacity, with 300 million targeted by decade's end, are the global buffer. Its 64-day strategic reserves, a shield against chaos. This tolerance isn't charity, it's calculus. India's buys keep Russian discounts alive, or did until they faded by 2026, starving Putin's coffers while stabilizing supplies. No energy apocalypse, no $150 oil Armageddon. The ripple? A redrawn world. Europe's once dominant pull on Russian crude vanished. Asia, India and China now absorbs about 90% of it. Europe pivots to Atlantic gushers, Norwegian fields, Middle Eastern lifelines. Enter the shadow fleet, more than 600 aging tankers, often referred to as the shadow fleet, transporting crude outside traditional Western insurance systems. This fragmentation screams one truth. Energy's unipolar dream is dead. We're multipolar now. Spheres colliding, Russia eastbound, Europe Atlantic-bound, India at the crossroads, and India is investing heavily, expanding refineries to process the world's crude, not just consume it, building reserves, forging pacts from Moscow to the Gulf to Africa. The vision: a processing powerhouse, refine global streams, redistribute to hungry markets. By 2030, India could play a major role in global refined fuel markets. Imagine your next flight's fuel refined in India from Siberian soil, greenlit by Washington. That's not fiction. That's the new normal. This saga, from 2022 shock to 2026 waiver, unmasks geopolitics core. Sanctions, potent but pliable. Alliances, vital but transactional. Rules, bent by demand's gravity. The Russian oil didn't evaporate. It rerouted through India. And as Iran reminds us today, those routes could save or upend the world tomorrow. So what do you think? Is India playing this perfectly? Or is it a risky gamble? Will this waiver spark a new energy war or peace? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into global power, energy, and geopolitics, subscribe to GeoMoney TV.